Hello everybody, this is Andy Master. What a really short intro to a game. Regardless, I'm here today taking a bit of a break from Pokemon Emerald, playing Sonic 3 and Knuckles, because let's not spoil too much of the game, of the little demos. Now, I'm not just here to play the game, which obviously I am, but I'm also here to show some of the differences between Sonic 3 and Knuckles. I might like record like the differences later on, but for right now, let's just play the game. See, I've got some files you can play as Sonic and Tails, Sonic, Tails alone, Knuckles, and yeah, that's it. We're gonna just play as Sonic alone. And you know what? Like, no need to get much of an introduction. Let's just start. Pay attention to this introduction. I might actually go like one after the other, because basically the intro is the same in both Sonic 3 and Sonic 3 and Knuckles, except the music's a little different. Not the, well, you'll see. And I think my headset is going on low. What a great way to start a playthrough. I'm just gonna get a charger. Honestly, the thing is, I think the battery could last long enough. It's just, every time it's on low, it goes like boop, 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 every once in a while, and it sounds really obnoxious. Anyways, our first secret, by that I mean where we can get our very first Chaos Emerald really quickly on, as I guess you could tell by the intro, Knuckles stole ours, because if you haven't played the old Sonic games, Knuckles is kind of an enemy in this game. I mean, yeah, we didn't have a great start. You can spin dash, you can get enough speed, and just roll into that Brock. Oh my god, I can't believe I just said that. You can roll into the Brock right here. And there's a giant ring, just like the one in Sonic 1 if you have 50 rings or more at the end of a stage. Let's jump inside. Welcome to the minigame, where you can get the Chaos Emeralds. Now, in these minigames, there are tons of blue spheres. You have to get all the blue spheres in order to get the Chaos Emerald, and not touch any red sphere. If you touch any red sphere, you're out, and you have to wait till you find another big ring to try again. Now, every time you hit a blue ring, it turns into, a blue sphere, it turns into a red sphere, so make sure you don't cross the same one twice. But if you manage to make a closed polygon, like this, around there, including the outline of the closed polygon, well, actually, polygons are always closed. If you manage to make an entire polygon, everything turns into rings, including the outline. But just make sure that you got, like, everything. That's, make sure that you got the entire outline on the very edges of it. For example, a 2x2 square doesn't have any blue spheres in the middle of it, so it won't turn into rings. However, a big, like, 4x4 blue sphere square, like you saw there, did. So it can. Now, if you got all the rings in the bonus stage, it will turn into a perfect score, and it'll give you a continue. Actually, it won't. The perfect doesn't give you a continue. Like, that's if you get a certain amount of rings, but not all of them. A perfect just is 50,000 points, and 50,000 points in a Sonic game is a life. So it basically guarantees you a life. Also, notice the invincibility music here. It's just like the title screen. In Sonic 3, it's a little different, and it matches Sonic 3's title screen. In fact, I might display to you both of them right now. On a separate note, when I record it later. Push that rock aside. There's a bit of pushing stuff in this game. It's a little odd, but some areas are a little odd when it comes to pushing stuff. Regardless, it's already time for the first mini-boss. Or is it? You try to jump on it a few times, it shoots these missiles. They don't actually hurt you. But the whole place goes on fire, and now... Dear God. That is a trippy background. If you have epilepsy, please do not look at that background. Anyways, if you go through, just... Oh, I better get it, yeah. Just like in Sonic 2, by going through a checkpoint with a certain amount of rings, in Sonic 2 it was 50. In this game it varies, depending on which minigame you want. I don't really know the numbers. I might look them up and display them here. If not, then I'm just lazy. This one I got right here. That's if you get at least 50 rings or more, I think. I could be wrong, though. I think there's one if you get, like, 15 rings, up to, like, 15 to 30, 30 to 50, and then 50 or more, and that was the one that I got there, 50 or more, because I had, like, 66 there. Something like that. I don't know. Basically, that was the, that was the ball dispenser minigame. You saw how it worked. I don't really need to explain myself. I might show the other minigames on the screen. In Sonic 3 alone, like without Sonic 3 and Knuckles, the ball minigame was the only one that appeared, and it still only came if you had 50 rings or more, I think. Again, I can look this up again. But, anyways, as you can see, we've already got another big ring. So just stop yourself by springing too high on that ceiling there. And it's time for the second minigame. Now, I'm not going to go for the perfects in every single minigame, just because, first of all, if you've noticed from the first one, the longer you take in these minigames, the faster Sonic goes, so it makes it a lot harder the longer you survive. And ironically, it makes you survive less. So, that's one reason why. If you get perfect, it'll, like, waste a lot more time. See, we're already going a little faster. Speed boost. Second of all, I don't think I've gotten all the perfects before. Yeah, no, I haven't. I definitely haven't. I've gotten, like, some perfects in some of these, but not all. Some patterns, like, some polygons that you have to make to, you know, to get the rings are a little annoying to make. And some of them are a little cryptic, too. Some of them are really hard to get to. Basically, case in point, there's a lot of variables. Anyways, we've gotten all of them. By the way, I think this one had a total of 127 blue spheres in total, and if you don't know, that is my favorite number. So I really like that one. Fall on the spring and smash back up. Now, there are also different elemental shields that I forgot to mention. We got some in the ball dispenser minigame, but I should explain them now. This one right here, like this, you can't really see it that well, but it's like a thunderbolt-looking thing, or a lightning bolt, actually. Thinking of too much Pokemon. It gets into this this electrifying shield. It prevents electric attacks, which isn't really useful now, but in like some of the final acts of the game, it'll be kind of useful. You just get a life right here because we have 100 rings. There is a fire shield, which Oh yeah, also the electric shield, if you press A in midair, you do a double jump. The fire shield is pretty much the same. It resists against fire attacks, which could be useful, especially in this act right here. What else? Also, if you jump and press A in the air, or press the jump button in the air, you'll sort of like dash to whatever side you pick, left or right. Not up or down though. But there's also a water shield where, again, it actually makes you not drown in water as long as you have it. And if you press A in midair, it'll like bounce you downward really quickly. I guess it's sort of like a precursor to the bounce bracelet in Sonic games. Here's a fire shield, as you can see, dash to one side. And we've introduced a new concept that I mentioned before, but forgot to explain that it's a new concept. Mini-bosses. There's, just like in Sonic 2, there are 2 acts to a zone. Oh yeah, and also there's that. I'll explain that in a sec. There are 2 acts to a zone. In each act, there's a boss. Yeah, every single act. Well, there are certain zones which have less than 2 acts. Some of them just have 1. But none of them have 3 like Metropolis Zone. Anyways, at the end of an act, and at the end of like the first act of a zone, that signpost comes down, and if you can keep like jumping under it to hit it multiple times, it'll give you extra points every time you hit it. But if it bounces on a certain part of the ground, which it's not random, it's always the same every time, but it doesn't really tell you where it is, these little monitors will pop out, like that one giving me the fire shield and the invincibility one. Right here, you just want to hold down during that cycle, and you'll roll into the 3rd ring. I want to also mention that as soon as you hit a ring, it doesn't come back for the remainder of the game until you beat it completely. After you beat it completely, the rings come back. By completely beating it, I just mean the final boss. Then, like, to completely beat it requires you to get all the Chaos Emeralds, and that would be kind of stupid if it's like, man, you need to completely beat the game in order to have a chance at getting the required items to completely beat the game. That's a paradox. That would leave you trapped forever, and you'd have to restart the file. Regardless, also if you're noticing, like, that in Sonic 1 and 2, I didn't show you these minigames. That's because, admittedly, Sonic 1 I can do them, but they're very difficult, and I probably wouldn't do them first time each time on camera. So we did them off screen. For Sonic 2, I used the code. So I can't do it in Sonic 2. Sorry, in Sonic 2, I used the code. I can't do it in Sonic 2. It's very difficult for me. Like, I've done like one or two of the Chaos Emeralds, but not all of them. They're, again, really difficult, and I'm sorry if people think I'm like such a dumb or whatever. But in Sonic 3, I can do them very easily because I've memorized the place. They're probably one of the more difficult ones, maybe aside from Sonic 2, in my opinion, which I still think that's incredibly difficult. Also, if you'll notice the music in this game, especially during like that mini boss that we fought a bit ago, it's really good, the music. And the boss, like the second act boss music is even better in my opinion. And just like in any Sonic game, there's a lot of alternate pathways you can take. Right here, we just press that button up there to drain the water. It doesn't really matter how many rings you get in this game, as long as you're surviving off of them. Because, as you saw, those big rings, with the Chaos Emeralds in them, they don't like care how many rings you have. They'll just appear there no matter what. And right after that big jump, you want to go a little to the left, fall down into this crevice, and we've already got 4 big rings. I know, the Chaos Emeralds go by really quickly, and they're probably the biggest stress part for me. Because, like, right after you get them, you're done for it. Like, you don't need to do it again in that file. You're, like, it's done forever. Yeah, these jumps, I really hate those jumps. Okay, we did those jumps. I really hate those. Like, they're kind of precise. At least from what I've seen from them. Now for this minigame, as you can see, like, you're making 3x3, like polygons. But here's a really big polygon that if you did this a little earlier, you could get all the rings here. But you want to make these polygons last. Sorry, you want to make them as quickly as possible. Then the rings that are in 2 small formations to make a polygon to turn into rings, you want to get those last because you can't miss out on getting the rings. Because right after you get the last blue sphere, like, the minigame just ends and you can't get whatever rings you had. So you have to strategize. And again, that can take a lot of time, especially if they're very far, the formations are very far apart from each other, and that happens sometimes. Sorry if it sounds a little technical the way I'm, like, explaining it all, but I'm trying to explain it the best I can. Here's the water shield, by the way. Again, if I can't drown in water as long as I have it, and if I press A in the air, bounce down, and if I hold A after I bounce, I can bounce even higher than a normal jump. Bounce. And that bridge, that'll break. It's pretty obvious that bridge will break. Come on, man. It's not steady. It's not sturdy. I think that's the word. Now there's this really cool, like, sound effect for this, like, floating fortress. If you just keep holding right here, these bombs will not get you. Sometimes I like to risk. I love that game. I don't actually really like that game that much. Well, I don't hate it. I just like, I'm not really a fan of it as opposed to liking it. Okay, how do I? Just never mind. Ugh. Wish I had the fire shield here. This would make this boss a little easier. But time for the very, very epic music for the Act 2 bosses. Let's go. I also should mention, if you've really caught that, and again, you're new to the game, I'm explaining this for people who are new to the game. If Sonic doesn't have a shield and he jumps and presses A in midair, a little mini force field comes around him. It's a little hard to see through, like, outside this water, but if you look closely, you can see a little white come around him. That increases Sonic's attack window, or attack hitbox, without decreasing his, sorry, it increases his attack window, but doesn't increase his damage range window. So, you can get a lot of hits in if you plan it strategically, and I'll show you how to plan it strategically another time. If Tails presses A in midair without, well, even with the shield, because Sonic can only use the shields, like, you know, by doing a double jump, or dashing with the fire shield, or bouncing with the water shield. But if you play as Tails or Knuckles, they can't use those shields like that. However, they'll still be immune to fire, water, and electric attacks. I'm explaining so much in the first episode. But it's worth explaining, because some people don't know the game. I could just die right now. If you notice, this bridge comes down every time I come this way. I don't know why. But anyways, if you press A as Tails after jumping, then he'll start flying, and if you keep tapping A, he'll fly further and further up. But eventually he'll get tired and he'll just fall back down. He can also swim like that, which is kind of unique, but he'll still get tired even while swimming. Knuckles, he'll glide, and if you hold A, he'll just keep gliding, and he can climb up walls. Maybe I'll show that off later, or at like the end of the playthrough. It's really interesting. I've just noticed that this, right here, these capsules, instead of doing like they did in Sonic 1 and 2, where they're just after the boss, they come down. Well, some of them come down, like, in this propeller thing. Some of them are still, like, stationary on the ground. But it's interesting, this one is, it's not necessarily going to the end of the battle screen. It's actually hitting the end of the screen there, or near the end of the screen. It's about as far as I can go through the screen. So as you can see, it's stopping right there. But if I move along with it, it'll stop there, 'cause that's the end of the screen. Anyways, let's free these animals, because I think they're getting impatient. And so is my viewership, if I have any. Let's admit I don't have any. Oh, hey there, Knuckles! Oh, early reaction, apparently. And he breaks the bridge, because screw us. If you hold right here, you can hit that switch. That's very strategic. I'm good at strategizing with this game. Now right here, there's a double path here. If you go to the right, well, they're both ways lead to the end of the level, but to get one of the big rings, I want to actually go up here using these fans. These, if you press A, on the top one, you'll fall down to the bottom one. If you press A on the bottom one, it'll jump back up to the top one, unless you miss it completely. Anyways, we're going through the top path first to get one of the big rings. Oh my god, did I actually go through that? I went through a sprite. I mean, that's probably more likely than going through solid ground, but this right here is supposed to be a sprite that breaks. Anyways, you're supposed to fall down into that crevice there. Well, that's one way of doing it. That's what I usually do. But I figured out recently that another way of doing it is to destroy this guy, and you can fall down. You can fall down. You can fall down. Maybe that's only in Sonic 3. Maybe that was a glitch or something. Anyways, let's just fall down that way. Now this one's probably the easiest in the game. And this is one which is probably the easiest to get the perfect on as well. Also, there are springs here. I'm not going to test them out, but well, I can right here. Basically, if you hit them, you go backwards, and you just press up to go forward again. Simple enough. I call this one the pumpkin stage, because, well, it has the right color palette for, like, Halloween-type stage. Speaking of that, Halloween's coming along. This is the perfect stage to explain. I'm gonna be Vegeta. Well, I'm gonna try to be. If I can find a costume. I could probably spike my hair with lots and lots of gel, but that's for another time, I guess. Well, this whole conversation's just for another time. Yeah, these minigames are right here, all about math. As you can see, that jingle for the continues, that appeared before I got the perfect, so I guess it's a certain percentage, but it's not entirely 100% of the rings. Only the perfects for the 100% of the rings. And there are sometimes just stray rings. Like, you don't get them from making polygonal shapes. Yeah, those also count. Oh, I'm already close to another one up. That's my second continue already. And for this game, it doesn't actually matter how many continues you have. Well, like, it sort of does, because it continues from, like, the last checkpoint. But it... every act, every 2 acts, actually, it saves your progress. So, continues aren't as dire as they were in previous games, regardless of a stage select code or anything like that. Wow. I love that sound effect, I don't know why. Like, I can imagine, like, this, like, big, tough guy is just, like, just sees how pathetic you are. He's like, wow, that sucked balls. Anyways, now we want to go back this path, because there's another big ring this way. Boom. That guy breaks that. Another... I love that sound effect. I really don't know why. And now I just lost it. Thanks, game! Yeah. We don't need the bubble. Right here, there's a fan. We can get up here before we start to hear the drowning music. Oh, the music actually started over, which means the drowning music was right about to come on. But then we got out of the water. And sometimes this happens with these ramps. I don't know why. A little glitchy. It's fine. It's a 16-bit game. Alright, kept our 100 rings. That's great. Also, I also really like Sonic's sprite here. It's different from Sonic 1 and 2. Sonic 1 and 2 is with the same sprite. I like it here, it's cool. I think Tails is about the same, and Knuckles in Sonic 2 with Knuckles in it, whatever you call that game. Yeah, that was great, wasn't it? You can call it Knuckles 2 if you want. I think Knuckles looks the same as he did there, but Sonic looks way different. Alright, here's the big ring, and we're actually right at the end of the act after we're done with this. So, obviously, there's 7 Chaos Emeralds, and there's, well, unlike the first Sonic game where there were 6. 7 Chaos Emeralds, and this is the 6th game, so after we beat this, we have 1 more Emerald left. That's great. So I guess this is just to show you guys the pattern, if you're new to the game. You also gotta be ready for the speed increases. So right now I keep making rights, and eventually 4 rights will put me back to where I started. So right here, nope. I guess I was mistaken, but maybe I just wasn't calculating that properly. Oh, here that was the right. I was going straight, actually. See, even I lose like my sense of direction here. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. Alright. Don't worry, there are more difficult ones to come. And by that I mean, yes, there are more than 1 more ones to come, despite me having 6 and needing 1 more. And you'll see that soon enough. There's a lot of confusing things in the game that you really... It's easy to understand, but it's a little difficult to explain. I love this mini-boss music. I mentioned it before, and I'll say it again. Love it. Sounds so epic. 4, 5, 6. There we go. Yeah, most mini-bosses take 6 hits, and most of the major bosses, as some people call it, or minor and major bosses, if you want to call it like that, take 8. Although, you know, sometimes it changes the formula a bit. I gotta really take a tinkle. We've already recorded for like 29 minutes, man. So I'll be right back. Alright. I'm back. Not like anyone cared. Yeah, whatever. Anyways, just right here you want to hurry, because if you don't hurry, there's a wall that'll smash you. Right here, there's a bit of a difference between Sonic 3 and Knuckles and just Sonic 3. That one-up right there, originally in Sonic 3, that was a spring backwards, so it's kind of a dick move there. They just fixed that cheap shot, and the wall stops. Yeah, I don't know this game inside out, but I know it pretty damn well. These hands right here, if you weren't paying attention before, you just let them grab you, and they'll and you'll move really quickly. I really hate when you get triple bar, because it's like you get triple of a number, but why does it have to waste it on bar? See, all bar does is, regardless of whatever else you have in that combination, you'll just get 2 rings for every bar you have. It's just pissed me off. It's sort of like a mercy score. Sweet. Now regardless of that machine, if you get your 50th ring in this minigame, and it's a physical ring, like not from the machine, which I just did, well, if it's 50 or more rings that you have, then you gotta continue, which I did, so that's great. Yeah, it's kind of an odd system. I just kind of figure it out by trial and error, and eventually get really good at figuring out things about the game. Oh. I'm just holding down right now. I have no idea how that happened, but that was absolutely amazing. Let's see if I can get a 1-up. I really hope I can. Can, not can't, if that's what I said. Yeah, we're good. We got the 1-up. Now, right here, I think it is... No, not yet. We're going up a bridge here. We're going up another hand. Right here in this crevice, there's a spring and an invincibility thing. Well, the invincibility thing, then the spring, really. Right here, you want to jump on this thing and fall down to the left. And here's the final minigame. This is the way I do it. Again, this is just one way of doing it, but I find it very efficient. Just jump over here, make that happen. Jump over here, make that happen. Go through. And make that square. Go through this way, I think... Oh god, I'm actually getting lost here. We'll do this a little early. I usually do this the very last thing. Get these 4 at the end. Need to find the 11 square. Where's the 11 square? It's the really big 11 square. Oh god. Oh, here it is, here it is. Okay, 11 square, fine, that's it, we're done. And that's the final Chaos Emerald. Sonic got all the Chaos Emeralds. No perfect, but it doesn't matter. Now Sonic can be Supersonic. Not become Supersonic, just to be Supersonic. I think that's kind of phrased a little incorrectly. So if you have 50 or more rings, unlike Sonic 2 where you just jump and you become it, you press jump and then you press A in midair again. Or the jump button in midair again. And it's time to become Supersonic. And it's just the invincibility music that repeats over and over again. There's a bit of a thing with Sonic 3. We're actually about right at the boss. Very, very soon. Very, very soon, actually, yes. There's sort of an odd thing with Sonic 3, and I think it still exists in this game, but I could be wrong. I don't think it does, actually. But if you start rolling with Super Sonic, like not normal Sonic, but Super Sonic, it's actually slower to roll. You eventually start losing like tons of speed when you start rolling, as opposed to just running normally without rolling. It's kind of odd. Maybe I'll show that off again. And one more ring, which will get me up to over 200, because now all the big rings will give you 50 until you hit another part of the game. Well, we'll give you 50 normal rings. Right here in Sonic 3, what I'm doing right now is holding right. Now, it doesn't work in this game, but I'll show you what happens if you just hold right on that cutscene in Sonic 3. Oh yeah, and up here, too. It's also important. Anyways, here's the boss. You all know what time it is. Now, since I'm Super Sonic, I can just get propelled up by this. It would normally do damage to me, but Super Sonic is OP, obviously. As you can see, the camera is a little off-center here, and that's because they wanted the boss boundary to be a little sooner, and because of the glitch that I'll show you why they had to do that. Shoot up in the air. That's not the reason, I'm just saying that I got shot up in the air.